Hey guys, this is HotNoob here, and this is PHP tutorial number 3. In this tutorial, I'll be going over your basics, your if statements, your if else, and some basic variable usage and stuff like that. So first of all, I'm just going to go and create the PHP tags. Now, a variable is defined with the $sign symbol. So $, variable, right? And then, of course, you can leave it like that. That just defines it. Although I'm pretty sure PHP might ignore it. It's pretty useless as it is, right? If you were to load this page, it would do absolutely nothing. Right? Switch it there, you get a blank page. So we need to give it a value. So what we can do is we can give it a number value. I'm not sure, a decimal or whatever, or you can give it a string value. So we're just going to take that hello world example and take it one step further. Echo $variable. And what's that going to give? Well, you guys probably all know it. Hello world. Oops. So, now we have variables, and it's not really doing anything. So let's do something else. Let's include an if statement. The way an if statement works is you just have if, right? Simple if. And then you got your open bracket, and then you have your condition in here, and then your closed bracket, right? And then you have these curly brackets, right? Open and close them. You have to pay attention to when you open them or close them, because if I left it open, my editor tells me right away, but if I were to open this, I get a nice little error, a syntax error. Now, if you're not having errors enabled on your server, you wouldn't even see this. You just get a blank page and nothing would happen, right? As you can see, the hello world doesn't even show up in the code, right? There's no hello world, no nothing. So basically, when PHP runs, it checks for all those syntax errors. And that's just something I didn't go over too much is the semicolon. Whenever you're ending a line, always use the semicolon, right? So anyways, back to the if statements. Here we are. So if condition. So basically, this is saying if the condition is true. So if it's true, if we just put true in here, is and let's make it do something. Let's actually just copy over echo variable. So if true, right, and then it should, whoops, say hello world. But let's say we wanted to make it. Let's say if we entered in false, if the condition was false, then, oh, it doesn't show up. But let's say we wanted it to run if it was false, right? So if we put exclamation mark, then, and refresh it, whoops, come back here, it won't run, right? But if we put false with the exclamation mark, will return true. So the exclamation mark basically just reverses the outcome of the condition, or reverses the results. So yeah, it's an if statement. Now another thing you can do is you can put booleans in variables. So here, let's just call this $condition equals true, right? And just put this in. So then we should see hello world, right? Hello world, yeah. Now let's say, actually, if you want, you can actually put the results in a variable. This is something that's not too commonly done, but right now it just looks like a simple if statements, right? So what's in this variable condition? False. So basically with this statement, it's saying if the false, like if it's true, it does this. But right now, condition has false in it, so it won't show up. Ta-da! But like all things, reverse it again with an exclamation mark, and now it shows up. Ta-da! Oh, that's a lot of work, right? To take in, a lot to take in. Hopefully you guys can get that. So remember, exclamation mark. I'm not sure if 2 of them works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Or, oh, it does work. So you can do it multiple times, although it's pretty useless, right? Why would you want it? 3 times should be false. You can play around with that. So that's just a little something, like you can overcomplicate it. So let's make another variable here, condition 2. Right, let's say we can. That's something unique about PHP. If you define a variable in this if statement here, and it won't give you any issues if you were to say if condition 2. Well, it would give you an if is set error. So I'll show you guys that. If $sign condition 2 echo condition 2 is true. So let's switch over to that. And as you can see, you get this nice little notice on the undefined variable condition 2 on line 13 or whatever. So if you want to do it this way, if you don't want to pre-assign your variable, let's just go condition 2 here. It should work. I'm not sure if it would. Oh, no, it doesn't. So let's see. I'm going to just change this else. So this is your else statement. So obviously, if this does not return true, then it runs else, right? So else condition 2 equals true, right? So run it, and you get the notice undefined variable. So normally what you want to do is you want to give it a default value. If you're doing it that way, false. Whoops, I'm just gonna put that back there, equals true. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys too much, I realize. So anyways, now you get no error because it has a default value. But let's say for some odd reason you didn't want to do that, or you didn't know if it was going to be defined. There are some cases, a lot of cases actually, where you don't know. Then you just do if is set, right? And then you're going to use and, or you can use two and signs, and condition 2 equals true. So, or actually we don't even need the two equal signs, but you get the idea. So here we are. As you can see, there's no error yet. It's not defined. So basically how this works is this isSet function is returning false. So what isSet does is it checks if the variable is set, obviously, right? And if not, it returns false. But why isn't this giving off an error? Well, the reason is because efficiency, right? Efficient programming dictates, pretty much, dictates that there's no point in checking condition 2, right, if there's an and side. But what if you did or? Condition true equals true. Then you're going to get an error. The reason being is because with the and, you want both conditions to be true. So if the first one returns false, PHP isn't even going to bother with the second one. So order does sort of matter, right? If you were to reverse these orders and switch them around, well, what's going to happen is you're going to get a nice little error. Ta-da! Error. And put them back how they were. Yeah. And then you get no error. Okay, so as before, you also saw that you can use equal signs, or two equal signs. So if you were to do equals true, what's going to happen, you're not going to get any errors, but this condition will always be true. So if we change this to false, right, it still shows it. So that's something you have to be aware of. Basically what's happening here is what PHP is doing is it's going from right to left, and it's saying condition is equal to true, and then it's checking if condition is equal to true or something like that. Right, so if you were to put this into a nice little bracket, equals true, with the right, should give you the same effect. Right, there are a lot of shortcuts in PHP that you have to be aware of, so it may seem confusing. So anyways, if you want to actually, compare it, you need both equal signs. So I'm just going to go here, and as you can see, condition 2 is true. And why the hell does it say that? Well, it says that because if it's not true, then it's going to set condition 2 to equaling true, and then we check it here, and poof, condition 2 is true. But if you want it to be all nice and display nothing when condition 1 is false, right? Simple exclamation mark at the right point. Alrighty. So now we have if statements, we have if else, but what if we wanted to compare something else? These are just Booleans. So let's say, I'm just going to get rid of all of this here. Condition 1 is equal to 10. Ooh. So let's say we wanted to check if condition is equal to 10. Actually, let's just change this to value because it's no longer the condition. So if the value is equal to 10, then we want it to echo. Let's just keep it pretty simple here. Value is, whoops, sorry, value is sign 10. Whoops, value. There we are. So as you can see, there's a $sign in the double quotation marks, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to lay this on to you guys pretty quick. So I'm also going to put another one here in with single quotation marks, and you'll see what it does in a second. So here I'm going to be I'm showing you two things. First of all is that you can assign integers to the three things, that you can assign integers to the variable, and that you can compare the integers in the variables, and that you can output the variable names in the strings and whatnot. But you have to be aware of the difference between double quotations and single quotations. So what's going to show up? Well, what do you think? Okay, I'll just, yeah. So I should probably put slash in there. There we are. So as you can see, value is 10. But in the second line here, which is the second time we're outputting, what happens is you just get $sign value, right? There's no value. So that's the difference between single quotation marks and double quotation marks. Single quotation marks aren't added through any processing, so it's always going to be static. But if you really did want to, what you can do is press period to add the string, and poof. I know, it's really a lot to take in for one tutorial. So anyways, let's say we wanted to change this to if value equals 5, right? And then else, well, let's say we wanted to check if the value is equal to 4 as well, right? Echo value is 4, and then else echo, just for the hell of it, invalid value, right? And we get invalid value. No, it's invalid. So if it were 5, if value were to equal to 5, it would do value is 5, and then 4, value is 4. But if it were anything else but 5 or 4, it would equal to invalid value. But that's so much work, putting all of those if-else statements, or else if statements for every single value. So here's a nice little thing. If value is less than or equal to 5, right? That is the less than sign, less than sign. And we get value is 3. Just going to get rid of that extra line there. So, yeah, value is 3. But what happens if we don't have the equal sign and the value is equal to 5? Will it output the value, or will it say invalid value? Invalid value, no! So, yeah, that's sort of obvious. But if you're to change the 5 to 6, and poof. So that's unfortunately all the time I have for this video, because YouTube. Hopefully you guys learned quite a bit here. So yeah, you guys can come check out my blog at HotNoob.com, and I guess I'll see you guys later.